For working with links and connectors, first select the link and connector icon on the toolbar. To create a new link, right-click at the start position for the link and drag, letting go of the mouse button at the end position. In the dialog box, choose the number of lanes for the link. To create a link in the opposite direction, simply drag in the opposite direction. Link direction is defined by the direction that the link is dragged. Alternatively, you can have vSim create a link in the opposite direction by double left-clicking on a link to open the link dialog box and then selecting the Other tab and checking Generate Opposite Direction. The number of lanes for this new link can be different from the original link and can be selected before the link is created. If you now left-click on this new link, you will see that the arrows on the outline of the link show the direction of travel on the link, and it is in the opposite direction of the original link. The default setting in vSim is to create opposite links for right-side drivers. If you are building a model for a location in which drivers drive on the left side of the road, you can change this default under Simulation Parameters by selecting Left Side Traffic. You can reverse the direction of an existing link in vSim. To do this, simply double left-click on the link and select the Other tab, and then click the Change Direction button. You'll notice how the arrows have changed direction when the link is selected again. You can change the width of lanes of a link by double-clicking on that link, and then in the dialog box, changing the lane width. If you select 11 feet here, this will change the width of all lanes of this link to 11 feet wide. In the link dialog box, you can change the lane width of a particular lane by selecting the Various Lane Widths button and changing the desired lane's width. Links in vSim are numbered from the outside lane in. Besides left-clicking on to move a link without changing its angle or length, left-click on the link to select the link, then, while holding down the Shift key, left-click and drag the link to the new position. To lengthen or shorten a link, left-click on an endpoint and drag the endpoint. To create curved links, left-click to select the link, then right-click on the link to create a spline point. Left-click on this spline point and drag it to create a sharp turn on the link. To smooth this curve, when the link is selected, hold down the Alt key and left-click and drag along the link between the endpoints on the link. In the dialog box, increase the number of intermediate points. This will create a smooth curve, with original spline points staying in their current locations and new spline points created between any existing spline or endpoints along the selected section of link. The number of new spline points created will be equal to the number of intermediate points minus 2 per section. To delete spline points, drag a spline point onto another spline point or endpoint. All spline points in between will be deleted. If you drag an endpoint to the other endpoint, you will delete the link. You can also delete a link by hitting the Delete key when the link is selected. Select Delete in the dialog box. You can also create a duplicate of a curved link. Double left-click on the link to open the Link dialog box. Select the Other tab and check Generate Opposite Direction. A link will be created in the opposite direction with the same curvature as the original link. You can also split a link into two links. left-click on a link to select it, and then on the menu bar select Edit Split Link. You can then left-click on the link at the split position. In the resulting dialog box, you can choose whether or not you want a connector to be created between the links. Select OK to accept the split. If you view the link in Centerline View, Control-A, you will see the connector, which is a small pink segment in between the two new links. To create a connector, first left-click on the Start link to select the link. Then right-click near the endpoint of the link and hold, dragging over to the destination link until that link is highlighted. Then let go of the button. In the Connector dialog box, select OK. This creates a straight connector between the two links. To create a curved connector, double left-click on the connector to open the Connector dialog box. Click the Spline checkbox and increase the number of points. This creates a curved connector between the two links. The default will be to create a connector with the most possible lanes and will always choose the outside lanes first. You can change which lanes of the links are connected by the connectors by selecting particular lanes in the From and To link boxes in the Connector dialog box. This must be a one-to-one relationship. Notice that if you attempt to select more lanes in one box than in the other, the OK button will be grayed out. To select more than one lane in the From and To link boxes, use the Shift or Control keys when left-clicking with the mouse. To delete a connector, make sure the connector is selected, highlighted with arrows. Or, left-click to select the connector, then hit the Delete key and select Delete in the dialog box to delete the connector. If you have shifted a link after your connectors have been created, you can re-spline the connector by simply double-clicking on the connector and rechecking the Spline button. It is possible to shift a connector to another link, such that it connects a different link pair. To do this, simply left-click to select the connector and then left-click over the endpoint of the connector and drag it over to the desired link. When the new link is highlighted, let go of the mouse button. If you try connecting two links that travel in opposite directions, you will notice that the connector, when highlighted, shows a strange triangle. This is because the two links are in opposite directions, and vehicles have to make a sharp U-turn to use this connector. Connector spline points can be edited in the same way as link spline points to create unique curvature or delete spline points. Besides left-clicking on a link to select it, you can also select links and connectors from a list box. If you right-click in the network but not on a link or connector, a list box will open that shows all links and connectors in the network. You can scroll through the list using the up and down arrow keys. You can also access the link or connector's properties by selecting the Data button, and you can delete links or connectors by selecting the Delete button. If links and connectors are on top of one another and you have difficulty selecting the correct one, you can use either the Tab button to scroll between links and connectors that cross the XY location that you have clicked, or you can use the Scroll button on the menu bar to do the same. One property of links that we have not yet discussed is link type. If you open a link dialog box, you will notice that there are several default link types to choose from. These default link types already have driver behavior models associated with them. Under Base Data Link Types, you'll notice that you can assign driver behavior parameter sets by vehicle class, and that you can have multiple driver behavior parameter sets per link type. This allows you to choose a different behavior for different vehicle classes on the same link. An example of how this might be used is, on a freeway link, if trucks are only allowed use of left lanes for passing, you would add a driver behavior assignment for trucks, HGV, with the right side rule driver behavior parameters set. Please note that while the default driver behavior parameter sets are named exactly the same as the link types, they are created separately and are not automatically connected.